Hi Facebook Live, I'm Katie Barrera here in the Timing Food Studios today with health.com. So I hope you guys all had a great long weekend. I know I did, and I used a ton of fresh herbs in my cooking this weekend, and I want to show you some of my favorite tips and tricks for incorporating fresh, flavorful summer herbs into your cooking. We'll do a little Herb 101 here. It's a great way to add flavor without adding fat or salt. Here are some typical herbs you're going to see over the summer. The first thing that always happens to me is that I get a huge bunch of herbs like this, and before I can figure out how to use them up, they go bad. So number one thing you really want to do with your fresh herbs is store them properly. That can give you a couple extra days of shelf life and keep them super perky. Water glass, about a third of the way full with water, and you make your little flower arrangement, just like that. All right, it works with woody herbs too, like rosemary or marjoram here, and then you just pop that in the fridge. If you're gonna have it for a couple of days, or you have something that's kind of also smelly in your fridge, you can take a larger plastic bag than this and put it over the top, and then throw that in your fridge, and it will keep it from picking up any of the other smells that you have in your fridge. So the other awesome technique that I love for preserving herbs, all right, like basil, rosemary, thyme, tarragon, they all work, is in the microwave. It is one of the best ways to use your microwave, because otherwise you would be like hanging these upside down for 3 days like you're in the olden times, or laying them all out on sheet pans and waiting for 3 days for them to dry. This way, you're done in about 2 minutes. The microwave actually kind of concentrates the flavor, sucks all the moisture out really quickly, and preserves the color. The dried herbs, especially those leafy ones like parsley that you get in the grocery store, they don't have a ton of flavor, and they have a shelf life. You know, it's only about 6 months to a year that you want to keep those. This is a way to have fresh, dried herbs all year long and not let your herbs go bad. So we're going to do a little magic of TV here. These would go into your microwave, high power, 30-second increments for about 1 minute to 2 minutes, depending on the type of herbs. Check them in the middle to see how it goes. Make sure you have it on a microwave-safe plate. Before we started, I did some rosemary. So you can really smell it in here. The aromatics are so intense. And when you know it's done, it just comes right off the stem, which you don't really need to keep. And then you can put these in an herb jar, you can put them in a plastic bag, and they'll keep for about a month, and it's just so fragrant and nice. So that's your perfect way to preserve your summer herbs. Another way, if you want them to stay fresh, is to make herb cubes. So typically, let's do it with some basil. You can do it in water, but I prefer to do it in olive oil. It really just kind of coats the outside of the herbs, keeps them from discoloring at all. You can do multiple herbs. Let's do tarragon and basil in there together. Why not? A little bit of olive oil. I'd say for every cup and a half of herbs, you want about a third or half a cup of olive oil. Put that together, pulse, and then you take that paste and you just spoon it into an ice cube tray. Obviously, you're going to have to make a lot more of this in order to fill up your whole ice cube tray, but that's super concentrated herb flavor. And you can pop out those ice cubes. Like if I just made a huge thing of this, I would have to defrost the whole thing. This way, I can pop out a single herb cube, stir it into risotto, stir it into pasta, put it over a hot piece of fish or steak. Really delicious, and that'll also keep for about a year in your freezer. Okay, so the other amazing thing about herbs that I don't think people really think about too much is that they are super on their own, but they're even better together. So we're gonna play a little herb matchmaker here and see if we can come up with some awesome flavors for your summer cooking that are a little bit more unexpected using a couple different kinds of herbs. One of the first ones that I love is chive and dill. This is like your ultimate kind of schmear herb combination. You could also have it, over seafood. You could have it, I don't know, anybody else have any great ideas? Please put your comments and questions in the comments section, health.com. So for chives, I like to snip them. It's a lot easier than chopping. This is definitely the way to go. We're gonna make some chive dill cream cheese. The anise flavor of the dill and then that sharp kind of onion flavor of the chives work so nicely together. When you're chopping herbs, you want to do them up in a little bunch like that. Get them all together so you're not unwieldy, and then just chop across. Tuck those fingers in, bring it back together, and run your knife through. You also want to make sure that herbs like this, like dill, really leafy parsley, if you wash them, that they're completely dry before you start chopping them, because they'll just kind of turn into a mushy mess. So you stir that into your cream cheese. You've got a great spread for your bagel, on your salmon platter. That's a really nice summer herb mixture. Another one that I love, think of it kind of as your ultimate, oh, I have cream cheese. Don't tell. Your ultimate seafood mixture over steamed mussels or clams, or as a marinade for fish, is thyme and basil. I'm going to give the basil a little rough chop. You guys know how to chiffonade basil, right? You take the leaves, put them on top of each other, roll them up nice and tight. It's not like anything else you've ever done, I'm sure. And then very thinly slice it. And that gives you a really pretty basil topping. So if you take some olive oil, we have a nice piece of Arctic char here. Rub a little olive oil, a little kosher salt, a little pepper, basil, and you can take the whole sprigs of tarragon, kind of smack them to get that aromatics going, get those essential oils released, and then just put it right on top of the fish. Cover it with plastic, let it sit in the fridge for a few hours, and you've got an amazing piece of fish that can go on the grill, in the pan, in the oven, whatever. And then the last one I want to show you guys is kind of your Italian seasoning mixture. This is marjoram. It's very much like oregano. I prefer it to oregano because it's a little bit sweeter. The smaller leaves has a little bit of a floral scent to it as well, and fresh mint. And there are so many cool kinds of fresh mint. If you guys are at your farmer's market, make sure you get some pineapple mint, get some neat mints. Just make them a nice little ball together, chop them up. So put this herb mixture maybe into some ground meat, ground lamb, particularly healthy, has lots of vitamins. And you can make some lamb meatballs. We're gonna do a really quick Italian dressing. Salt, pepper, olive oil. 3 parts oil to 1 part vinegar is good. You don't really need a recipe for vinaigrette. Mason jar, just shake it up. All-purpose Italian dressing with just 2 herbs. So we've got herb cubes, storing herbs, and all these different ways to use them. Any questions or comments?
Everyone's loving everything. There's no questions yet. A lot of people like to dry hang.
Dry hanging is a great way to go. If you've got that time, that's an awesome way to do it. But, you know, to do a really, like, say I have a package of herbs that I just have those 2 stems left, I don't really want to dry hang those. I'm just going to pull those off and throw them in the microwave 2 minutes later, and I'm going to use them the next day. But it's a great technique if you have a garden and you've got an abundance of herbs, for sure.
What are some of your favorite herbs, Katie?
I love tarragon. I think it's underused. It's amazing on seafood. It's great in chicken salad. It has that kind of anisey flavor. It's definitely one of my favorites. I also have some fresh bay leaves here. I think that's kind of something that people don't really think about too much. Fresh or dried bay leaves are amazing in sweet dishes. Put that in a simple syrup and then use it in a cocktail, or even if you're like cooking down some rhubarb for a rhubarb pie, a couple of bay leaves gives it that savory note that's lovely.
Are those pretty easy to find?
Yeah, you can find them at the grocery store for sure, just with all the other fresh herbs. So that's it for today, you guys. Thanks for watching, and go to health.com for more tips and tricks.